Hi folks, Lou here to answer a simple question. How much solo playtesting do you have to do before the game has panned out or not panned out to the point where you can contemplate having other people playtest? Now, of course, first I should say, if you don't solo playtest, then I pity your playtesters because they're having to find the most obvious problems in your game, and then you sort them out and so on. And that can't be a whole lot of fun. It's much better for you to play the game solo and figure out those problems and fix them so you have a working game, a game that people can play all the way through to the end before you inflict it on other people. So I'm assuming that that's what you want to do. So how many playtests does it take to get to that point where you think you can have other people play it or you set it aside? Well, I'm going to say on average about 3, but it varies a great deal. I recall devising one game where I played like half a game, and then I asked some other people to play, and we had a long-standing playtesting relationship, and it worked out pretty well. But that's certainly the exception. I remember playtesting a game, World War II tactical game, 8 times before I finally gave up on it. I've set it aside and I don't think I'll go back to it, although some of the ideas from it have percolated into other games. When I first came back into game design after 20 years away, about 2003, 2004, I designed a game about the French Revolution, and I probably played it solo a dozen times. And then it sat for a while, quite a while, and then I had some other people play it and decided it needed to be revised. And that's where it is now, probably at least 10 years later. Well, actually, probably 15 years later. So it's not likely I'm going back to that game. But that's the sort of thing that happens. And it's much better if it happens in your mind after playing it solo than that it happens after other people have had to deal with it. So what am I telling you in the end is playtest the game solo until you think you're not going to get more from playing it solo and you want to see other people play it, or you've decided that game needs to be put aside because it's not good enough to go forward. Now, I know novice designers tend to get this notion that the game is their baby, and so they always want to go forward, even if it's not justified. But one of the things that makes you a professional game designer is recognizing when the game is not good enough and putting it aside in favor of something else. And that's why you want to be somebody who designs a lot of games, not just one at a time. Because if you're only doing one at a time, you're going to be very reluctant to give up on it, to abandon it, even when it should be. So I'll leave you with that advice. Design lots of games, not just one at a time. Thanks for listening.